So the first set of Unrivaled ratings are in, and it's been kind of grim. And by kind of grim, I mean...
What did we say continuously here on this channel? Yeah, record ratings. Of course you guys are going to have record ratings. Nielsen changed how they count numbers. Of course.
The drama surrounding Unrivaled did not arrive with a crash. It arrived quietly, disguised as confidence, wrapped in bold language about sustainability, growth, and the future of women's basketball. For months, the story sounded perfect. A new league, fresh energy, big names, big promises, investors willing to write massive checks, social media buzzing with excitement, headlines declaring a new era. Everything looked clean, bright, and unstoppable.
Really, really grim. If you are Unrivaled, this is, if these are your ratings every single...
Remember during the WNBA season? Oh my gosh, all the ratings, the record ratings, blah, 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 blah.
But then the numbers came in and suddenly the room got quiet. Silence always tells the truth faster than applause. When the second season opened, it did not feel like a celebration. It felt like walking into a room where the music had stopped but nobody wanted to admit it. The seats were emptier. The buzz was softer. The numbers told a story nobody wanted to read. Viewership was not just down. It collapsed. Nearly 70% gone. Not slipping. Not dipping. Falling straight off a cliff.
A week on True TV, it's not the biggest disaster in the world because by the looks of things, these True TV ratings were similar.
The ratings are going to be more. It would be kind of embarrassing if they were that much less.
Kind of drop that forces people to stop smiling and start checking spreadsheets. Last season, everyone talked about record ratings. Every broadcast sounded like a victory lap. But what most people did not want to talk about was how those numbers were being counted. Nielsen changed its measurement system. Suddenly, everything across television looked bigger, more impressive, more successful. It was like changing the ruler and pretending the table got longer. The numbers grew, but the audience did not. And when Unrivaled returned for season 2, reality showed up without makeup. Opening night should have been electric. Instead, it felt empty. Like a party where the host showed up early, the food was ready, the lights were on, but nobody came. Ratings that once crossed hundreds of thousands barely reached into the tens of thousands. Prime time that once looked promising now struggled to fill what felt like a small cafe. Daytime games performed even worse, pulling numbers that suggested most people did not even know the season had started. And that might be the most brutal part. Many fans were not choosing not to watch. They simply did not know. Promotion faded. Reminders disappeared. Social media went quiet. The machine that once screamed about every dunk and buzzer beater suddenly whispered. A leak can survive low ratings for a moment. What it cannot survive is invisibility. The first season rode a wave of curiosity. New always sells. People want to see what they have never seen before. But curiosity does not last forever. After the first look, what keeps people coming back is habit, connection, and excitement that feels real, not forced. When those things fade, hype becomes hollow. And hollow hype collapses fast. Now the numbers tell a story that marketing cannot erase. Games that once drew near 300,000 viewers now struggle to reach 100,000. Some barely reach 75,000. In the key demographic that advertisers care about most, numbers that once looked promising now barely register. These are not small changes. These are warning signs. Networks do not live on optimism. They live on math. Advertisers do not buy dreams. They buy attention. And when attention disappears, money follows. That is why this moment matters not just for Unrivaled, but for the entire women's basketball ecosystem. When one project is sold as proof of sustainability and then collapses, it makes everyone more cautious. Investors become colder. Networks become stricter. Sponsors become hesitant. And the irony is painful. This league was built on the idea that it represented the future. A model that others should follow. A symbol of what women's basketball could become. But now, instead of being an example, it risks becoming a warning. Talent was never the problem. The athletes are elite. The skill is real. The competition can be intense. But talent alone has never built a league. If that were true, history would look very different. Sports survive on stories, connection, visibility, and shared experience. When people do not feel part of it, they leave. And once they leave, it is hard to bring them back. Technology was supposed to help. Nielsen is moving toward a system that counts everything from traditional TV to smart TVs to streaming platforms. That system inflates numbers for most major sports. It makes ratings look better. It makes headlines easier to write. But even with that advantage, Unrivaled barely moved. When even a system designed to boost your numbers cannot save you, the problem is not the math. It is the audience. This is where the word sustainable starts to feel dangerous. Sustainability is not something you declare. It is something you prove over time. You do not earn it with one season. You earn it by surviving bad seasons, boring seasons, and quiet seasons. You earn it when people still show up even when the hype is gone. Right now, Unrivaled has not proven that. It has only proven how fast attention can disappear. And now the questions get uncomfortable. Was the first season real momentum or just a lucky moment? Was the audience actually growing or just curious? Did people leave because they lost interest or because nobody reminded them to stay? Did leadership assume excitement would sustain itself without constant effort? What is clear is that something broke. The connection between league and audience snapped. And when that happens, everything else becomes fragile. Broadcast deals get shaky. Sponsorship conversations get awkward. Expansion dreams start to look unrealistic. This matters for the WNBA too, because when a league built in the same space collapses, it sends shockwaves. It makes people question the entire market. It makes executives hesitate. It makes investors cautious. And that fear spreads faster than hope ever could. The scariest part is how fast it all happened. One season, Unrivaled was being celebrated as the future. The next, its primetime viewership barely fills what feels like a small coffee shop. That is not decline. That is collapse. And collapse changes perception. Fans start to wonder if the hype was fake. Media starts to shift tone. What once sounded like belief now sounds like doubt. And once doubt becomes the main story, reversing it becomes incredibly hard. Unrivaled might survive. It might adapt. It might find new strategies. But the idea that it is already proven, already sustainable, already the model others should follow, that idea is dying fast. Right now it looks less like the future and more like a cautionary tale about believing your own marketing too early. Because in sports, the audience is everything. You can have the best athletes in the world, the best production, the best mission statement, and none of it matters if people are not watching. Viewership is not a suggestion. It is a verdict. And right now that verdict is harsh. The future is still unwritten. Maybe the league fixes its promotion. Maybe fans return. Maybe the story changes again. But for now, the numbers are louder than any press release. And those numbers are saying one thing clearly. Sustainability is not a slogan. It is something you have to earn every single season. What do you think really caused this collapse? Was it bad promotion, fading interest, or hype that never had roots? Do you think Unrivaled can recover, or is this the beginning of the end? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share this with anyone who follows women's basketball, and if you want more deep, dramatic breakdowns like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because stories like this don't end quietly, and the next chapter is coming fast.